Hey, you're back in the garage with TheEZGZ. Hooray, I got my order in from CB Performance. One of the things that was holding up this whole project, at some point along the way, I decided that I wanted to go with this extended pickup because I am going to use the Geenberg 1.5 quart oil sump. I use one of those on my 2 liter as well. It works out real good. When you have a more powerful engine and light and flywheel, the engine has a tendency to rev quicker, and it is possible to starve your oil system, and that's not a good thing, especially when you're running tight tolerances on your bearings like I am. So nothing the matter with these aluminum bubble top cases. I'm tickled to death with it. I've got all my clearancing done. I got my case cleaned up and blown out, and this just arrived. Now, somebody was asking me if my extension, if the oil screen pickup would have fit on this. Let me go grab one because I didn't really try it. I did notice that when I had this on my other engine case, my AS41 engine case, it came with this similar style of oil pickup, and my extension did fit on that. And when you buy these deep sump oil kits, they usually come with a couple of different size extensions, and I can't find the stuff that came along with that one so many years ago. And I think it might have worked, and it looks like it's a pretty straight shot down there. But just to show you if the stock works or not, let me go grab one. This one is not particularly clean or lovely. I just grabbed it out of an old pile. Yeah, it looks like it goes on there, and it fit okay. So I don't know, maybe yours got bumped. Just answering a comment, somebody asked me specifically about this. Somebody also asked me, they were intending to put an oil temperature sensor on the oil relief system. I don't use that. I usually wait until I shut off my engine. I would prefer, since I do kind of get out in the weeds occasionally, to not have wires and things underneath my car. There's just general trash and speed bumps and just possibilities that don't appeal to me. I usually use one of those, they call them engine savers. It goes down the dipstick hole, and you connect it to your oil pressure sensor, and it will make your light flicker. And those are very annoying to check your oil levels with, and I just run that for different circumstances. When I first get my engine out, get it built, hot summertime, I try to see where it runs. I know where normal is on it, and I'll usually carry that laser gun, and I'll shoot the bottom of my engine case and different points around the engine. And I'm really going to be watching it very closely on this one because I'm using an aftermarket fan shroud, and this is an aluminum case which has a tendency to run a little bit hotter. So I'll be looking at that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have a preference on those. And I don't run one. Some guys like their cars to look like an airplane with all those gauges, and it really doesn't make any difference whether your gauge is accurate or not. As far as I'm concerned, the numbers may not as well be there, because you're going to see what normal is for your car, and I don't put too much stock into the numbers on those little gauges. Those just aren't expensive enough to give accurate readings over a long period of times, but it's whatever that you prefer. Some people like them. So I've never put one of these things, got one of these extended units in. So let's just, I'll put you on the stand. We'll see how hard it is to get this one out and the new one in and lined up. I'm gonna have to measure it to cut it because it is too long, but I thought as long as we've got everything here, we'll just kind of check it out. I'm kind of curious. I think I'm gonna need a 10mm wrench to get this nut off the inside. They're using a nylock nut, and this stud is a little bit longer, and it feels like the whole stud is turning, which is just fine with me. You probably want to, that's one of those things. Man, my 1800 engine build, I got the whole thing all together. I was you know, really pushed for time on that particular build, and all of a sudden I come to find out that the stud wasn't long enough. Something wasn't right. I'd overlooked something and had to work through this little crack, and oh man, that was something. And this does feel, oop, it moved a little bit right there. I think this is a swedged fit. It's a friction fit in there. Probably would help if I could move it a little more than what I am. Probably help if I could just get a socket in there. Yeah, I think that would fit in there. You know, sometimes I see everybody else out there on YouTube using those DeWalt electric impact wrenches. I've had a few rechargeable drills in my time, and it seems like when I was working and I was doing a lot of work, those things were great. And but if you leave them sit around for a year or two and don't have any projects going on, then sometimes it seems like it shortens the life of the battery, and then I hate getting in the habit of using one of those things. When I worked my service truck, I used one of those a lot. Yep. Oh, that's nice. I always try to look at things and try to understand why they do things the way they do. And here we're looking at this, and I notice there's a feature on this. I don't know if you see it. You see how that bend is right up here? How, it's coming. I figured it out, guys. I figured it out. I couldn't understand, looking at the picture, why this would be better than this one. And now I see it. Why do you think it has this squished out flat spot on the top? I had the feeling that it might be for temperature transfer or oil flow or something like that. No, it's not at all. It's actually, wow. This is a revelation. This is one of those light bulb moments. Let's see how it fits in there, and then I'm going to bring you over. Oh, better fit. Let's make sure that it's the same size. Oh, it might be as good. This one's got a little bit of a bevel on it. I might have to modify that. I think I will. I'm just gonna. Seems like everything you buy, nothing's ready to go. You gotta massage everything. But, you know, I understand why. If we're all going to be shopping for the bottom dollar, every little step that they do takes time, and they got to pay somebody to do it, and that adds on to the price. And you know, all I did was just kind of like bevel the edge of it. Let's see if that thing starts any better. Oh man. Oh, figures. Once I get it in there, I'm gonna have to take it out anyhow. Okay. Let me show you what I just observed. It doesn't say anything about this. It just says, you know, optional for the German pickup. The reason is this acts like a P-trap. What does a P-trap do underneath your sink? It prevents the sewer gases from coming back in your house. It's a water seal. But in this case, it's trapping oil between the pump and the pickup. Initially, when you do your startup, you put a little grease or something heavier on your gears so that it's going to pick up that oil. But this way, every time you shut your engine off, you're not going to lose the oil. And this one, you're going to have a drain back. It looks like it's got a little bit of that bend in it, so it would, maybe this is enough. It's just, boy, it's not as obvious as it is on this one. This is definitely, if you have your car at a slight angle, this is going to keep that oil from draining out, and then when you start your car, you know, you're not going to get that air bubble in there. It's really important on Volkswagen engines. You know, for decades they've been telling people, you know, don't idle your car, it's polluting, get in and start it up. Well, those are modern engines, and these, I remember in the old John Muir book for The Complete Idiot, he used to talk about starting up his engine. He didn't like chokes, and he would roll himself a cigarette of some type and wait for it to warm up. I always thought that was interesting. So we got that little thing figured out. Now I really want it to go in. You know what? This has probably got some sort of paint on it, and maybe it would be beneficial to lubricate this. I wouldn't want it to have paint on the inside. I wonder if it's powder coated or something. Sometimes powder coating is a little thicker than paint, so. Warm that baby right up. Sorry about that. And I want to stick my finger in here if I can. See something in here. Boy, that's kind of. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a little oil on here. This is hot. That's going to expand it. Don't have to worry about it's moving oil all the time anyhow, right? See if that made any difference whatsoever. You want a tight fit because you don't want that sucking air, even though it's probably going to be man, that is still. This almost feels varnishy, sticky, like they had something on here. Well, that just slides right in like it was made for it. Let's get my handy dandy. I use this thing continuously. Okay, 695. 710. So this is actually 15 thousandths bigger tube than that tube. What is the hole measurement? You ain't gonna believe this. It looks to me, wow, like I'm screwed. That ain't gonna go in there. And I'm certainly not gonna take this plug out the other side. You know, this just torques me. Always something. Always something. Sometimes I can deal with it, other times I can't. Here's my new heads that I was kind of waiting on here. They're Autolina heads. I ordered them with the heavy-duty single springs, chrome-only retainers and keepers. And these new Autolina heads have a O-ring around the valve stem. That's kind of interesting. Ford and Chevy have different things to prevent it from oil going down there, but it's never seemed to be much of an issue with Volkswagens because they are angled towards the valve cover downhill. These have the little notches cut out around the rocker arm studs. Some of the newer high performance one even advertise that that's not there. I prefer having that little O-ring, even though it's a good idea to use some kind of a mild Loctite or sealer on those studs when you put them in, because it just, you get oil leaks. Oil goes right through there. Everything gets hot and expands. What had happened is they had forgotten to cut my cylinders, and they were for the 85.5. These are cut out for the larger 90.5/92 cylinders. Either one will work, and you can see how close it is to the stud hole. If you had these cut out to 94, which is not uncommon practice, and if you're using an 8mm head stud, there's room to do that, but you'll see a big slot going all the way down the side here because there's just not enough room. And it doesn't seem to hurt anything, but it just goes against the grain. I'm not a big fan of 94s. They have thick wall 94s now that are just crazy. You can make a 2180 using the 94 size, which gives you a very thick wall cylinder, and that was the big thing back in the day that old Gene Berg used to like to beat the drum on, is that the 94s were thin wall, and he would have never liked the 87s. He loved 88s, but those were cut for the 90.5s as well. Now, this little piece of tin is missing. What do you suppose that piece of tin was there for? Was it, you think it was just there to hold the rod for your thermostat wire? That doesn't even line up to do that, but I might have that in wrong. Maybe it fits the other way, but I'm not going to use a thermostat with this fan shroud, and it doesn't have the flappers or the holes to put the flappers in. I'm using an aftermarket without the heater ducts in it. And what this is a deflector. This, I did not put it in right. That's why it looks off, because it's wrong. Holy smokes, we got room for all of this stuff. This is a air deflector, just like this is. This goes underneath your cylinders, and this is supposed to deflect air to go across your head to the sides, and they don't come with that now on these, so I don't know why, but I just took one of these off an old one, bink, and you see what I'm talking about. The air just is going to come straight through here, and you want it to wrap around the bottom of the heads like it does on the cylinders. So I took this off of that head right there. And I guess I didn't get it over far enough. Actually, I had it in. Let me just take a look at one of these other heads. Okay, the slot goes to the cylinder side. And it goes to the right. And I got this going. Oop, goes like this. Okay, that makes sense. Looks like one of the little tabs broke off. Where is it? Find it. Okay. So, whoop, get that back in there. On there. You can see why they leave this stuff out. And then your air hits that and goes off to the side. And I think the plan was for that little thermostat wire to go through there. I want to get that even. I want to get that lined up right. You know, it's just like that pickup. It's close, but no cigar. Whoop. Just pinches in there, just a wedge fit. I'll probably ought to put some Loctite on there, or some one of these tabs is missing. So either put some. I don't want to put silicone or anything that's going to hang down there and block the airflow. But yeah, that definitely is not a good thing. So got my heads, and I'm real happy with them. They're the steel, new valves, new guides. I'm going to swap out the intake valves only for stainless steel valves. A lot of people might question, why in the world would you put these kind of heads on a 2110? And I'll tell you why. I don't want too much horsepower. Doesn't that sound crazy? All the things I do for performance and making a little extra power, I'm not into like all out power, peak power, because anytime you add horsepower, you gain it on the top end at high RPM, but you lose it on the bottom end. And I spend so much time in traffic, driving around and crawling around trails, I don't want to give up that bottom end power. I just want more of it down low. I want it from 1500 to 3000 like it's a draft horse. But I still think that needs flow. I already CC'd these heads. They cut out the step. I'm left with 50 cc's. That's not enough. I want to get like 54. So I'm going to do a little trimming. There was an old book. It's still available. How to hot rod Volkswagen engines, and it's got a picture of a chrome engine on the cover, and they have a lot of details on what to do. I'm going to be taking the valves out. I need to take that little corner off of the exhaust side inside there. That'll help flow a little bit on the exhaust, but I don't want a 3-angle valve job. I want a wide margin like stock, and I'll be checking to see what I've got on that. It transfers heat from the valve into the head and away quicker, and it's better for the valve seat. The stock valves rotated. That's why you had your rocker arm set up off center. And you know, if I can get 30,000 miles out of a set of heads, I'm satisfied with that. If at that point I have to replace them, I think that is acceptable. But I want this engine to run cool and be able to get on the interstate and drive 500 miles in 4 different seasons, and I think that this is going to allow me to do that. If not, I don't have a problem with splitting the case, changing my cam, and changing the head. I have a 40x35 new head that's ready to go. It had very little time. It was on the other 2110 when we took it apart. I don't know if you remember that, but I'll be getting into these here. I think I'll start off in the morning when I'm a little fresher and it's a little cooler. It's like, it was like 100 degrees today on my front porch, which is on the other side of my main garage door here. And even though I have an insulated garage door, I get to sweating. And so, what do I want to do here? I'm going to take a... Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Medic! Medic! I'll tell you, you get old, your skin gets so damn thin. Just running my hacksaw over there and got off track a little bit. Cut this with a nice little bevel. Want to make sure that there's no sharp edges on that thing. Nothing, no pieces of metal that come loose. Okay, got the old one out. Must be a tapered hole. This one says 710, but with a little, without screwing things up, I was able to get that thing to go in there good and tight, nice and dry. Man, I am close. Another quarter of an inch and I would have had it. Come on. This is it, guys. I'm calling it a night. There's too many things going wrong. And I'm bleeding like a stuck pig here. That's just the way this whole job has gone from start to finish. I'm starting to get real apprehensive about the whole damn thing. Oh, man. I hate beating on it. You know what I could do is warm up the case right there, and I'll bet then it would go in. Probably fall in. I don't want to heat them both up though. Everything's a struggle. And when you have those days, and you're retired, it's just time to call it quits for the day. Heat rises. Okay. Now, let's see what happens. It's just almost... almost in. Do you have to work everything this hard? That's it, guys. Oh, you know what? Let's just take care of this right now. Let's put a little blood on this project. That's what this thing needed. A little blood. A little christening. If it ain't got my blood on it, it seems like no job is done until I've bled. And I'm in a crabby ass mood right now. When you have to resort to beating on things, that's a good time to stop. You know? You know what I mean, Sam? Cool. Have to get something else. Some guy left a comment the other day. Oh, I like to come home and go out in the garage and putz around. I was in a real calm mood, I guess, when I made that video. But I'm not right now, and this is a good time to just stop before I screw something up for real. That's it. I just peel that dang hide right back. It goes clear up into here. And I don't want to get all greasy and stuff. It's not bleeding bad, but I should have had gloves on. And I gotta be better about wearing gloves. I'll finish that tomorrow. Hey, what's going on? It's the next day. I'm still a little frustrated. I got some other personal stuff going on in my life right now, and trying to lose weight and dieting and all this stuff, not eating the stuff I want to, being isolated. Man, it's affecting my patience level. I don't know about you guys, if I just seem to be more irritable. I don't have patience for myself or other people, and I'm getting impatient with this engine build. Seems like there's a lot of money tied up here, and nothing fits. You know. Waiting a month to get my parts, that's not good. That's not good. I don't know about you guys, but when I get motivated on this stuff, I get an idea of what I want to do or what I want to build, and you wait a month later, I've changed my mind 3 different times, you know. So yeah, don't worry about my hand. It'll be fine. I already went on my bike ride this morning and I watched a little TV. I see those roadkill episodes are coming back up, and they don't have all the professional equipment and editing, and you know those little GoPro cameras that are so popular. They don't have a viewfinder like the camera that you're watching me with. That's why I like those handy cams, because they've got that swing out. a lot of guys don't know how to use those, and they see everybody out there struggling. I enjoy watching Jay Leno, and I like those roadkill guys, and I found this new channel that I've been watching a lot of, Wheels of Time. I don't know if you guys have watched that one. It's like a motorcycle museum, and they have a lot of old Harley Davidson stuff. Harleys and Indians is what they really specialize in, but they have other things as well, and it's you know, those old, gosh, all the, you know, the rocker arms and springs and everything on the outside of the engine, total loss oil systems, 4 ounces of fuel, but they only made like 4 horsepower, you know, 9 horsepower. They didn't make a lot of horsepower, a lot of RPM, and of course, you know, in 1913 or whatever it was, a lot of those old ones, the gas quality wasn't very good either. So anyhow, and I read through my comments. I found a whole, like 100 comments in this thing called, what was this? Saved for review or kept for review. They don't come up in my normal comment section, and it's like, I'm still learning. And my computer right now is, it's restarting, and it's like, yeah, it's been restarting for about the last hour, and it says, don't turn it off, don't mess with it. And your computer will be restarting several times. Just let it go. And it's like, oh boy, I wonder what kind of surprises I'm going to have the next time I get on there and try to edit a video. I get sort of like emotionally attached to my stuff, and I really, you know, decide on what it is I want to do and then try it, and I might change my mind. This oil pickup, I got the screw down and got it attached, and it's going to be fine, but I may need to cut some of this off. It's definitely, after all that struggling to get it on there, I want to put this oil sump on there, and I wanted to see, just for giggles, I'm bringing this down low, but see, I think that I would never use a stock screen on a stroker engine or a high horsepower, high RPM engine. What I'm thinking about doing in the back of my mind, and you guys have seen me use this before. Let me see if I've got it out here. I've used in the past and kind of like is this little slip-on deal. They have an optional screen that you can put in there, and I generally don't use the screen. If I'm building a motor and I'm worried about my sealer floating around in there during the cam break-in, I might put in a stock screen. If I'm going to limit myself to like a constant 2,000, 2,500 RPM to break in a cam and that first initial oil change, or maybe for a while, I might put that. If it comes out clean, I'll just eliminate it. But I kind of like this. It's got 2 O-rings inside there, and oh yeah, baby. Oh, it does go right up. And what it does is, you've got this nice little dish, and it, you know, it's a loose fit, but this is like the low spot in your motor, and that's where it's always pulling your oil from. So of course, if you got that on there, and like I said, I've used these on 2 or 3 different motors. Since it does slip, it can't come off, and it's got these little legs on the bottom, so it keeps it from accidentally sliding down. I always kind of was nervous when I used these clamp-on extensions that something might come loose on that, but this sits in this type of a position, and maybe you want to pull it down. This would work perfect for here, see? So now I know, but here's what I'm thinking of going away from that and not using that. changing my mind. I've noticed when I have an engine sitting around in the garage, it's not in the car and I'm not using it, when I pull this out to change the oil, this is where everything is kind of settled. And so the next time you do get it together and you do start it up, you're pulling anything that may have settled in that oil, any little particulates and so forth. Of course, I know we always run a full flow oil system on our cars, a better filter, but they have a bypass valve in it, and on that initial startup, that's when you can get things slugged, and that's when you'll have problems. So I was sort of thinking, I like this concept, and I'm thinking about taking the screen off, figure out a way to take the screen off, because you got these slots on the bottom, and I think that was the whole idea of this filter. It wasn't so much that the screen was doing the filtering, keeps the big chunks out, but when you shut your car off at night and that stuff drops out of suspension overnight, it'd have a tendency to go underneath here, and simple as that. And a lot of times we use the magnetic plugs that go in the bottom of your oil drain, and a lot of stuff will stick to that. And it's not so much that it's just that dark sludgy stuff. I've often wondered if it's that zinc additive that I put in the oil, because it's not really magnetic. It doesn't stick to the magnet, but it's kind of a lead-like slurry. You know what I'm talking about if you've experienced it. And I don't know that it's good or bad. You know, you can give me your 2 cents worth. I mean, I'm not against people leaving comments and saying useful things. I just sort of think it's ridiculous when people leave comments and they say, oh, do this, and do that. And it's like, well, maybe I've already done that. And it's like, maybe that's, you know, when I want advice and I like this, you know, I'll say, hey, what if you have an experience with this specific thing, let me know. Just call this a wrap. I just kind of was so frustrated last night, and, you know, then I cut myself, and it was like, you know, it was hot, sweaty, dirty, and I've just gotten spoiled. I think of anything else offhand. There's a lot of comments, a lot of support. I appreciate that. So anyhow, I hope you are enjoying your day, and thanks for stopping by. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel, and it'll get more views. Man, I would really like to grow my channel and get a few more subscribers, and that would allow me to maybe do some more of these kinds of projects a little bit quicker. I got so many ideas in my head of things I want to do. Coffee's getting cold. Time to get to work, start a fresh batch of videos. I think I'll go in and see if that computer's done loading and post this up. So, thanks again. See you on the next one.